It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
Let's go.
Welcome to the Integrative Edge, your go-to podcast for fresh perspectives on holistic health and functional movement. Join us as we explore innovative ways to optimize your health naturally and sustainably.
I'm Kelly Demers, founder of the Integrative Wellness Coalition and the owner of True North Performance.
I'm Lindsay Seefeld, doctor of physical therapy and owner and operator of Uplifted Oncology Rehab.
I'm Dr. Kimberly Klimek, licensed pharmacist and owner of Innate Healing and Performance.
You can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe so you never miss an episode.
Welcome to the Integrative Edge, where we explore innovative ways to optimize your health naturally and sustainably. I'm Kelly Demers, and as always, I'm here with my amazing co-hosts, Dr. Lindsay Seefeld and Dr. Kim Klimek. Today, we are diving into a topic that's often overlooked, but absolutely essential to your health, the lymphatic system. This hidden hero in the body works tirelessly to keep you healthy, fight infections, and eliminate waste. But are you doing enough to support it? Whether you're an athlete, recovering from an injury, or just looking to feel your best, understanding the lymphatic system can be a game changer in your overall wellness. So, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's break this down. Dr. Lindsay, let's start with the basics. What exactly is the lymphatic system? For sure. We're so lucky to have Dr. Lindsay, the expert in the lymphatic system. But can you talk about what exactly is the lymphatic system and why is it so important?
Yes. Well, this is, like I said, my love. I do everything lymphatics. It is the foundation to a lot of our health. And so basically, we need to start with the anatomy, I think. So our lymphatic system is very close to our vascular system. So if you can visualize your vascular system head to toe, right? It goes everywhere. Your lymphatic system is the exact same way. It's webbing down your legs, around your torso, down your arms, up in your head. And we have clusters of lymph nodes. So lymph nodes are where everything pools to. So we have clusters of lymph nodes in our groin, in our abdomen, our armpit, and above our collarbone. And so this is where everything feeds to. The role of our lymphatic system, there's three big things. Number one, it helps regulate the fluid in our body. So this is where we have that good exchange, the toxins are getting pulled out, the good nutrients are getting put back in. So you have that constant change between good and bad in our lymphatic system. The second one, which you already mentioned, is our immunity. This is where we fight bacteria, viruses, cancers. Yes, this is where we filter out everything. And then lastly, the other big thing is the hormone balance. This is where, some of our hormones will go into our lymphatic system, and that's how it gets spread around our body. So very important. So that is the basic anatomy of our lymphatic system.
Perfect. If you're on TikTok, are you guys on TikTok?
I just started a couple months ago.
If you're on TikTok, you'll follow me on this. There is a vibration plate that is like every other ad. They are hawking vibration plates like nobody's business. And so they have this, they're like, well, it's great for lymphatic drainage and it's super healthy. So I think, well, I should have that. Can you talk to, I'm a marketer's dream, by the way. I mean, if you tell me I've got to have it, I'm there.
Kelly's sold.
But, right, no explanation needed. Can you talk about, one, the importance of lymphatic drainage, the vibration plates, are they worth it? Are they not? And then I know we talked a little bit about a rebounder. Can you talk to those
my God,
things?
Yes. So I think it's important to know you have to have that muscle contraction to get your lymphatic system moving. So unlike our vascular system, we have a heart, right? Our heart pumps the blood around our body. Our lymphatic system only moves via muscle contraction or manual massage. Our lymphatic system is like a one-way valve. And so when you have contraction of your muscle, it literally pushes the fluid to where it needs to go. So rebounding, when you're rebounding, everything, your muscles are getting activated. Every single cell in your body is activated when you're rebounding. So that is one great way. So that's a very active. A vibration plate is more passive, where you just basically stand on it. And the same thing, as you're standing on it, your body is contracting to keep you on your vibration plate. And so that's another way to catapult the fluid in your body.
I was like, I have a vibration plate. I'm going to raise my hands right here. I love my vibration plate because, yes, I just hop on there and I don't have to think. It just does it for me.
Right.
But I mean, because we've heard about like the other methods for like the manual drainage can be like dry brushing, which I love that too. I have a sauna, so I get in there. I mean, just sitting in your sauna too is good for your lymphatics, but I'll kind of dry brush and do the motions there while I'm in the sauna. But usually part of my morning routine involves getting on the lymph plate for 5 to 10 minutes and just kind of gets that lymph moving in the morning.
We usually we've promoted hopping in place, right? Just the act of jumping up and down, gravity pulls you down, you bounce back up. Just hopping will get the lymphatic system going. I just liked the idea of the vibration plate kind of doing that for
Yes, because it's very passive. You don't have to, think. So for me, my clinic, I have one in my clinic, and I'll literally check my emails standing on my vibration plate because I don't have to think. I can just stand and it's doing the work for me.
Right into your daily routine.
That's right.
If someone has a problem with their lymphatic system, how does that show up?
Yeah. So there's different things that show up. So with stagnicity, so that's where your lymph fluid is not moving. And that can happen via several different ways. Number one, maybe you've had some kind of surgery or trauma. So those little webs that I talked about, could be cut off. And so the pathway is disrupted. And so you get, stagnant fluid in one spot. Activity is another one. So, if you are not a very active individual, that fluid just doesn't get catapulted and moved. So that's why, when you see, if you can think of some elderly, individuals that, what do? They're very sedentary. They don't do a whole lot. And where do they accumulate fluid? A lot of times in their lower leg. There could be other reasons why they're having leg, swelling going on, but some of it is just they're not moving as much. And so, having that stagnicity really leads up to, poor toxicity in that area. And that's, we'll talk a little bit more about that here coming up, but doing, like a lymphatic drainage, working with someone that does lymphatic drainage, because we got to figure out a way to help pull that stagnant crap, can I say, out of that area, because, that just increases the risk of just an unhealthy environment. If that fluid is trapped, you can't, like I said, have that nice exchange that naturally happens where, the bad stuff comes out and the good stuff goes in. It's just stuck. And I think an analogy that I always talk about is a pool. So if you think about a swimming pool, okay, a really good swimming pool, it's clean, it's got the right amount of chemicals in there. You have a filtration system, so there's constant movement of the water. Now, when you take away that filtration system, what happens to your pool? It goes to crap. You get literally, algae growing in there. You have debris that's floating down. Our body is the same way. If you're not having that constant, awesome flow, that crap is just staying there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good analogy. And I love when you give presentations, because I love seeing those two photos like on the screen, because it just really puts it into perspective. I mean, you don't want this like clogged up system that's basically holding in all your toxins. And then that's when you start to feel unwell from all that garbage just sitting in your body.
From a movement practice perspective, we talk about avoiding lymphatic stagnation by minimizing sedentary time. So a lot of us, if we're working from home, to incorporate movement every 30 to 60 minutes of some kind, whether that's moving your neck side to side, shoulder shrugs, neck rolls, ankle pumps, anything that will stimulate that lymph flow in specific areas. But one of the other things is posture awareness. Sometimes just proper alignment ensures that there's no unnecessary compression of lymphatic pathways as well.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when I used to work inpatient pharmacy, my boss, the pharmacy manager, I remember this very distinctly about like 5 years ago. Whenever I would go into his office for whatever, just conversations or check-ins and things like that, he was always sitting on one of those little medicine balls bouncing up and down. And I never understood like why he did that. But when I asked him one day, he said, oh, it's just to like help my lymphatic system. So that's another like technique you can do at home, and no, you can tell people, but it's just even just sitting on one of those little medicine balls and just kind of bouncing up and down. And you've seen the little like trampolines with the rails on them now too.
Those are the rebounders. Yeah, they sell those on TikTok too.
Yeah. Those are all the rave right now too. And I had a trampoline when I was a kid, and like little did I know that was probably actually helping my lymph system whenever I was bouncing on that thing at home.
That's fantastic. So we talk about exercise being a key component. Techniques to supplement exercise, things like hydration, staying well hydrated ensures that the lymph fluid remains easier to circulate throughout the body. Can you talk about the manual, the massage?
Oh, lymphatic drainage, yeah. So, working with someone that is trained, it is a special technique. I went through, weeks of training on how to specifically do this manual technique. It is the right amount of pressure. You can't be too aggressive because you can actually push down some of the lymphatic system. So it's a process of learning how to, like when a client comes into me, we address where your stagnant fluid is. And my goal is to get things open and moving. So a lot of the times we start at the gut. Everything comes back to the gut. And, if you are one that's constipated, not going to the bathroom, things are not flushing out like they should. So a lot of times when someone comes and sees me, we start at the gut to loosen up everything. And then we kind of work backwards. You kind of work up towards the different lymph nodes. Like if you're working on your chest, you work in the armpit area, and then you're working down the arm and then back up. So there's a whole sequence that we do. And, I train my patients as well, how you can perform different techniques at home to kind of mimic what I'm doing in the office. But it's a whole process of, opening and helping the system drain naturally like it should.
Because I'll touch base on that with my clients when we get, especially if we get like hormone panels back and they're really high in like estrogen. So they have a lot of estrogen dominance in the body. And like one of the first things I'll say is, you got to get those lymphatics going because we got to get like these toxins out of the body. We got to like start eliminating estrogen better through the gut and through bowel movements. But that's like one of the number one things you can tell if they got a clogged lymph system is if they're constipated and not having regular bowel movements. But then I'll instantly be like, because some of them they have never heard of the lymphatics. They're like, lymphatics, like what is that? And because I'll put on their like to-do list, okay, you got to get lymphatic drainage going. And so this is where it's great. We'll plug Lindsay, send her referrals, and be like, you know what? If you really want to learn about it, get over to see Lindsay. We have other people too in our wellness collective who we refer to who do lymphatics. And I was like, have somebody get their hands on you to help you with that process, to show you how to do it at home. Because if you're confused of where to begin or what to do, because I know even on like Instagram and stuff, people are showing us these points, and maybe you can speak to us a little bit about those too, because there's like those little drainage points that you're supposed to rub a couple times.
Yep. And there's oh my gosh, you could go on and just like watch so many different videos. But I think the key is, that's why it's so nice to have that professional, because, maybe there's certain areas that you need to spend a little bit more time on, or like, like there's areas that I know are clogged. And I know this via doing an evaluation with you. Like I can see and feel where I think you're clogged and then train you on how to do it. So, in general, like the big place, like if you're going to start anywhere, start at your gut. So, I teach my patients, even just get your hands on your stomach and just do circular motions to start stimulating your gut to kind of help pull everything in. So, it's just like, having that coach, you have to have someone kind of help you at the starting point and then take it off from there.
Are there certain times of the day that you would recommend doing that? Are you laying down? Are you sitting up?
It's all different. I think, it's just like that habit forming. You've got to find the time of day that works best for you. I tend to like to get things going right away in the morning. So, incorporating it into the shower, like if you're a morning shower, start waking your lymphatic system up right away in the morning. But any time is a good time. Like you just got to find a time during the day where you can stop and kind of get things opened and moving in your system.
Yeah, because I'll do some of like the gua sha in the morning too, if that's like part of my little skincare routine sometimes. And that's another thing is I tend to look at that if I'm feeling like there's more puffiness in my face than normal, I can tell the lymphatics probably need a little bit more love during that time. And I remember, going to when I first started learning about the lymphatics, I went to specialists, and it's learning that it is a different technique. It's not the same as like going to get a massage, that there's going to be different pressure because people might not understand that assumption. They might be like, oh, well, this wasn't really like what I expected, but it's a different movement on the body and different, like you said, points that you're focusing on. I did one like the day before my wedding, because I wanted everything to be flowing in my lymphatic system before my wedding day. So I thought that was really fun. That was what I focused on, making sure my lymphatics were clear.
Yeah. And going back to like your hormone discussion, like that's where you and I pair so well together is, you've got to have that release because, if you're getting like those good supplements and nutrition in your body, but you have stagnicity in an area,
great point.
It can't go there. Yeah. And, for example, I love talking about the breast tissues. So if you've got like lymphatic congestion in your breast and you're getting all those different, estrogen, progesterone, put in your body, and you're stuck there, it can't go in and the bad stuff can't go out. So you have to learn techniques to help open up that lymphatic system so that you can have that healthy exchange between the nutrients. So it's an absolute must.
I think of the lymphatics as like 110% a foundational element that should be done every day. You need to do stuff to focus on your lymphatics every day.
Yes, every day.
If someone listening to this is saying, okay, so we've talked a lot about different things that you can do. If I want to have 3 practices to do to get the lymphatic system going, what would you give me to do?
Okay. Number 1, I think the hydration. You have to be hydrated. You have to drink that water because our lymph is water. Like you have to have that good circulation. So I think that's number 1. Number 2, I think you have to have that movement. So you have to figure out a way throughout the day to get your body moving. So, whether you walk, whether you get a rebounder, whether you get a vibration plate, find something to get that lymphatic system moving. And then, honestly, the third thing is make sure you're pooping.
Yes.
I think that's the brunt of, a lot of things. Like I said, everything comes back to the center. That is how our body excretes your waste. And all that toxicity that I was talking about with your cells, it comes back to your gut. And if you are not a regular pooper, that crap is literally sitting in you and then it comes back, it seeps right back out. So I think that's those are the 3 things: hydration, movement, and pooping.
And then when we're fixing you up and everything, I tell people, okay, and then let's stop putting more toxins into the body and let's help decrease inflammation so that you don't have, these strong issues moving forward then.
So for someone that doesn't have regular bowel movements and so we can say that they have some type of compromised lymph function. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about compression garments, things that would potentially help?
Yes.
Or hurt?
So compression garments, I definitely use them. I definitely recommend them with some of my clients. It's definitely not my go-to all the time because I want your system to work like it should. And that is including with movement. Sometimes your vascular system is compromised, so you maybe do need a little of compression, stockings for your legs to kind of help your system. So those are so tricky. You can start with basic, like over the counter, you can get, light compression. They go in different levels. They go by levels of mercury. So 10 to 20 is very light, and then it goes 20 to 30, and then 30 to 40. So, initially, if you're just starting out and you want a little compression, I think start out with the mild 1 to 20, just to give a little bit of support. But someone that has full blown lymphedema, so that's a term I throw out there. That's where you have a lot of swelling going on that is just stuck. And so sometimes, yes, like you need different garments that will help support that, but that's where you need that professional to step in and look at your system and determine exactly what you need. And, I can help my clients exactly what one you should go out and purchase. Yeah.
Awesome.
Again, from a movement standpoint, I love that you are talking about low impact exercises like walking, things that are whole body movements. They're important. Strength training is also a great one. That contraction with lifting weights is, we'll get those lymphs moving as well. So.
Yeah, I just think of like walking too in general. Like walking is literally moving, helping you move.
It's so underestimated.
It's so underestimated.
Underestimated. The benefits of just walking and stretching every day are just unbelievably underestimated.
Walking,
Anything else that we should know about from either of you from in regards to the lymphatic system?
I think we've covered mostly everything. I think, I think we covered the three big takeaways that we need to do, with, just movement, hydration, and making sure your bowels are working. We didn't touch upon, like our internal organs either. So, our liver is so important for filtering everything too. And so, working with somebody, like myself that has techniques to help open up that liver to kind of help like naturally drive things through, that's a very important as well. Just like I said, all those internal organs are, everything comes back to the center. We have to help everything drive and move out like it should.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like we could probably have a whole episode about like castor oil packs and things like that too. And I know that you use a lot of like castor oil in your practice, right? With your clients. Yeah. So I'm usually telling them, the more you kind of focus on liver cleansing a little bit, that's going to help open up your pathways. I mean, that's a really great way to help with bowel movements too. People don't realize it's actually liver cleansing, but kind of getting one of those, great place to start would be a liver castor oil pack. And you get 1 to 2 tablespoons of organic castor oil on there, put it on the liver. And because the liver is this large organ, but putting it on there for about 30 to 45 minutes and, putting a heating pad on, which kind of helps drive, the toxins out of the liver. And then it does help open up the lymphatics, but you use it, right?
I use it. Yep. That's usually like one of my go-to is like, I want my patients on castor oil because it's a natural detoxer. And so, I have actually witnessed and seen, clients that, like, for example, have come in with a large cyst in their breast. They start with, doing some of the manual techniques, but then they're doing regular castor oil packs on their breast tissue. And I've actually seen and witnessed the cyst completely go away from just doing those techniques. So it does work really well.
That's great.
Using that consistently.
Yep, consistently.
So by integrating these practices, if you're listening, you can absolutely do the same thing. You can support the lymphatic system's role in waste removal, immune defense, fluid balance, talked about hydration, and really just enhancing overall health and recovery. The one thing that I will point out is if you think you are having a specific lymphatic issue, it's beneficial to consult with a lymphedemia specialist, physical therapist, functional medicine doctor for a more tailored plan. So thank you for joining us today. Join us next week. Thank you, Dr. Kim, Dr. Lindsay. Thank you for listening. Please join us next week for another episode of the Integrative Edge. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so via Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Ryan Seacrest here. When you have a busy schedule, it's important to maximize your downtime. One of the best ways to do that is by going to ChumbaCasino.com. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino games like spin slots, bingo, and solitaire that you can play for free for a chance to redeem some serious prizes. So hop on to ChumbaCasino.com now and live the Chumba life. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.